Good morning, everybody. Hello, Kat. Welcome. When I spelled your name K-A-T in the email, I did it right. All right. Can everybody see and hear me okay so far? Good morning, Taylor. How's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me okay? Hit me up, let me know in the comments, please. Pretty pleased with sugar on top as you funnel in. How did everybody do? I want you to comment. Good, thank you, Kat. I want you to tell me how everybody did with the audience creation. Does anybody have any questions on audience creation? Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate it. You never know, man. I think you're the one that sent me that message. We all know how good reliable tech is. It's not reliable at all. You're right about that, man. Who's got questions on audiences? Everybody get a chance to play around? There's kind of like a little bit more homework. It seemed like a lot more homework on the list, but I think once you make your first audience and you kind of play with it, those two different kinds of audiences, the lookalike audience and the custom audience, is it becoming a little bit more intuitive? Hey, Slava, how are you, my friend? Is it becoming a little bit more intuitive for you? Is everybody kind of starting to? Here's what I really want to know. Please just take 5 seconds and comment. Do you feel right now on day 4 that you're way more confident in Facebook ads than you were before you started the challenge? Let me know that. I want to believe that, that we're doing, that we're connecting and that this is valuable. Let me know. We have got fun stuff today. We're actually gonna start building the campaign today, starting with objectives. So okay, well, you're inspired stuff. Well, I know I didn't ask you if you were completely confident in Facebook ads. Let me rephrase the question to make sure everybody understands clearly. Do you feel like, on a scale of 10, 1 to 10, how much more confident are you on Facebook ads on day 4 than you were before you started the challenge? Nice. Good job. Okay, Taylor. Got it. I love that. Going back, I think, that's a good way to do it. And for everybody who, what Taylor said here is he said, even though he's a few days behind, he's just taking it all in because it's a lot to take in right now. And then he's going to go circle back around and implement everything when the classes are over. And you guys can do that for the lifetime access pass. It's $17.97, you guys. And you can access it as often as you want forever. Okay. It's I mean, it's you get to go back to the information forever and ever and ever. And all total, your cost on this challenge is, you know, less than $30. I mean, that's two cocktails, you know, in downtown Nashville. So that's I hope you feel that that's worth it. Good morning, Troy. How are you, my friend? How are you? Slava 8. Oh, my man. Thank you. That just made my whole day. All right. Good. So it's becoming a little demystified, right? A little less unfamiliar, a little less foreign, a little more familiar, a little more like, hey, I think I can actually maybe do this. Like, this isn't that dashboard. There's so many bells and whistles and buttons that it's overwhelming. And I remember when I first looked at it, I am like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like, you feel like you need to be a computer programmer, a software coder to be able to handle that. But that's the feeling that we all get when it's foreign. You know, it's just, we don't know what it is. And then when you start to get into it, it becomes more foreign. And I promise you, the more that you do this, it's going to become second nature. Like the operations of it, the buttons getting from point A to point B and doing what you have to do, you're going to forget about how to do that. It's going to become if you're a ninja on Pro Tools, it's going to be just like that. The hard part is the thinking part, where you're like, okay, what am I going to say? What's the content going to be? What's the audience? The creative part of it is always going to be the brain drain, as it is with anything. You know, when you're writing a new song, when you're recording, when you're making those kinds of creative choices, it becomes much, much more of a creative thing once you get over the arc of, how do I make this freaking machine work? Where does the gas go? Where's the pedal? Where's the brake? You know? So I get that. And I'll remind you, this sounds really silly and oversimplified, but it's really not. But think back to when you were a kid, a toddler, and you were learning how to tie your shoes. Just remember how much of a freaking hassle. I mean, hold on, I got to do the math here. It's like the rabbit goes in the hole, comes out of the hole, goes around the tree, or is it out of the hole and then in the hole and goes around the tree? And and you're trying to, you know, carry the 2 divided by and it's just such a hassle to learn how to tie your shoes. And now it's what they call like a second system. So you don't even remember doing it because you've got 5 other things going on in your brain while you're tying your shoes. So the execution, the working of Facebook ads in the program, the what's the word I want to use? The execution of it, the navigation of it, the putting stuff where it needs to go and knowing where you need to put it, that all stuff is going to become second system stuff to you. And the hard part is going to be, you know, refining that creative process. I'm going to try this audience. I'm going to try that audience. I'm going to try this kind of beginning of my promotion and the content versus this kind. And you're going to be testing all that kind of stuff. So good. I'm glad to see that. Taylor, I will put a link in the comments right now. There is a link that is in the group as well. And there's a couple links in the emails that I sent out. But let me just put a link in the comments for anybody that wants to get that all access plan. It is awesome. Here we go. So does anybody have any questions on audiences here that they want to pop up really quick now that I can? And I apologize for not seeing all the comments yesterday. I was looking at my phone and for whatever reason, it wasn't showing up on my phone, but it is showing up on my computer. All right, so here's the link in the comments section, guys. You can go there. It's just, it says membership because it is a membership, but it's just, there's no monthly thing. It's just a one-time payment, $17.97. And you can circle back around and look at everything because the tutorials go down after 24 hours in the group. I feel that's more than enough time for everybody across the globe to be able to cop into it and go through the lesson and make it happen. And if you have any questions on that, just let me know. But that will, and I put, so in the all access plan, by the way, every video recording is in there. and also all the homework assignments are in there, so you know exactly what you have to do, step by step, day by day, and you can kind of work at your own pace. And I do that because um, probably a very small percentage of you are ready to like rock and roll tomorrow on a promotion. You're still getting content together. You still got a couple other things, ends that you need to meet before you're going to start promoting. So, you're going to take all this in. It's going to be overwhelming on 1 week, and then you're going to kind of forget about it. But if you have, access to that content, and then now you're like, okay, now we're ready to go. Let's go back and build this campaign. And I'm going to go back, just start at the beginning. It's not a lot of information. I mean, you kind of are going to be familiar with the flow of each day. And so you become like fast forwarding to the part you need to get to, and get the questions answered that you want to get answered. Okay. Also, I am available for consultation. So you can hit me up at info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. info@daredevilproduction.com. I will put that in the comments section as well. And you can hit me up for consultations. And so that way, I mean, usually when I get that, like we just had a consultation with Katarina and Jason, it's a creative thing. They're like, okay, here's what we got going on. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. Here's some of our songs. What do you think? And we'll just kind of brainstorm. We just play in the sandbox together and start getting creative on what the content's going to look like. But then this tool here with Facebook ads is going to be what you use to make sure that people see the content, the creative part, if that makes sense. So anybody else got any other questions before we get started? Troy, I wanted to ask you, and everybody else, please, like on a scale of 1 to 10, comment in the group on a scale of 1 to 10, how much more confident are you about Facebook ads versus before you started the challenge? I know you're not confident. I know you're not masters. I know that. But I mean, if it was just a big fog and it looked like Chinese algebra to you and way too confusing and way too busy, do you feel like, is there more confidence now that you have going into day 4? So it would be after the 3rd day on a scale of 1 to 10, how much better is it? Like, are you starting to see the light? Okay. I want to make sure that we're communicating here, that we're doing our job. And communication is not me telling you, it's you receiving the information, and communication is on me. So if you're not getting it, if you don't feel at least somewhat more confident that, hey, okay, this isn't an overwhelming thing, I can work this tool, I can make this happen, then I'm not doing a good job of communicating. So it's for me to better myself when I'm doing these challenges. I remember I felt that way with Pro Tools, man. When Pro Tools first came out, I was an artist in the late 80s and the 90s. That was tape, baby, tape, analog. That's how I learned to record and make albums. And then I remember my producer, Bud Snyder from the Allman Brothers, they were out on tour in California, and I was hanging out on the bus, and he's like, dude, he goes, you got to sit down. I got to tell you something. And he said, he goes, you're not gonna believe that I'm telling you this right now, but you've got to check out Pro Tools and digital. I was like, wait, what? Like, he's like, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's like really cool. And so I used to fly my engineer friend Kelly out from Nashville because I got Pro Tools, I got the rig, and I would start playing with it. But there's so much in Pro Tools or whatever DAW you use. I use Pro Tools. I'm just giving you my experience. There are so much to learn, but I would fly Kelly out. I would give him the bro rate to mix some of my stuff, because we just also were looking for any excuse to hang out together because we were good friends and just had fun. But, here's the bro rate. I'm going to fly you out. So it's kind of like a mini paid vacation, but I get to be like right up your bum with, hey, how'd you do that? Why'd you do that? What was that keystroke? How did that work? Like, why did you pull that low end out there? Like, that guitar sounds like crap. Oh, listen to it in the mix. Oh, interesting. So that's how I learned, but it was overwhelming until I just embraced it and dug into it. And now half the keystrokes when I'm editing stuff. Like I do a lot of editing for the podcast and everything. And when I'm doing like little mixes and everything like that, those keystrokes, I don't even think about them anymore. It's second system, right? It's just like pow, pow, pow. I got the claw for group on, group off, bink, 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 on, off, on, off, on, off. I don't even think about it. It's not like I got to scratch my head. All I'm thinking about, I'm just completely in the creative mode. You will get here with Facebook ads. You will get here with Facebook ads. Okay. Great. Taylor's at an 8. I love it. Troy's at like a 7. I love it. That's right. Once you do it for, it'll stick and you'll start to learn, and then it's not so foreign anymore. So I want to show you a real quick video. This is like 2 minutes. It's super easy. And this is Jacob Cade, who is an artist that I worked with. Check this out.
What up? This is Jacob from The Broken. I want to tell you guys a little bit about Johnny Vermel and Daredevil Productions and how hard they worked for me. I was doing a solo project that was really rock and roll and like heavy a while ago, and we were working with them. And we had this gig, ended up opening for Dawkins in Scottsdale, Arizona. We never played there before. And it was like, how are we going to get people there? It was not a market, you know. Johnny and Daredevil, they put their nose to the ground. They came up with this ad scheme that just got people into it. They promoted us over there. We ended up getting a ton of people there. I don't know exactly how many it was, but we filled it out, which was crazy because we were opening. We were one of 3. We sold a ton of merch. The promoter and the owner of the venue were like, what in the world happened, you know? Daredevil Productions, baby.
So that was the show that I told you where we had, I spent $200 on ads for that show. They did a one-off in Scottsdale. He's from Denver, and they'd never been to Scottsdale. We were doing radio on that project. This is like 6 years ago, but the Scottsdale's in the Phoenix radio market. We had 0 spins there. They never picked up the single. So that's why the promoter freaked out. That's why the club owner freaked out. And the management of the headliner, Dawkins, offered him the rest of the tour because we sold tickets. So using Facebook ads, all right, I just wanted to get some people up. I couldn't believe that they took the gig because it's like it was an incredible expense to fly the band down. And they had, at that point, they had to hire the band. He didn't have like his own kind of band. It was very much like him, and they were building everything up. And we put together a cool ad. And you know what? Let me show you that ad real quick too, because I think it's no, go away, go lie down, because it is I want to show you kind of like because the eye that I had, the shots that I put together to make that ad generated like, I think it was like 400 people, between 350 and 400 people showed up to see that kid play. And at 8 o'clock, like he said, he was the first of 3 bands. So he wasn't direct support. And then they sold a boatload of merch. And here we go. So I'm going to share this with you guys right here real quick and just kind of check this out. Let me just share the screen back. Here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Thank you, Jay. All right, so everybody can see this right here. All right, so here's the ad. So that's the ad. That's the ad that did it. And the point I wanted to make was this: the promoter. Now, I wasn't expecting this, but the promoter at the time for that show did exactly the same thing promoters always do. They, when the show was booked, I'm sure the promoter made sure, the club owner made sure that the show was in the local rag in Scottsdale. Like here we have Nashville Scene in Nashville. Everybody's got kind of a local rag on the scene. The club owner put it on the website, and the club owner put the event on his Facebook page, both of which, those two storefronts, you're not going to see unless you go there. And then the big push is radio. They're going to do radio ads a week before the show. So we did that ad. We spent $200 in ads, and we out promoted the promoter. So if you notice the language in that ad, and this is like a cool little trick that I want to hip you to. So when you get that sort of national ad gig, or that any gig where you're going to open up for, I don't care if it's a local band, and they have a way bigger following than you do, man, capitalize on that, because that brand name association with yours makes you cooler. That improves your brand, that lifts your boat. And then you're also going to be, while you're scratching your own back, you're going to be scratching the back of the headliner. So 400 people showed up to see that kid play. And I'm like, awesome. Now tickets were $25. Dokken is the headliner. They're, if you don't know who that is, they're like a legacy band from the 80s. Used to have one of my favorite guitar players in it. My favorite guitar player, but not anymore. But, they weren't like a big deal. So I didn't think we'd sell any tickets, because I don't care how cool the ad is. I'm not going to get you to come off $25 to go see somebody open for somebody if you don't know who they are. So rather than make the CTA, which is call to action, CTA, call to action, what do we want them to do with the ad? When you're doing an ad, you want them to do something. The CTA was, we just assumed in the copy, which is the language that's in the ad, the graphics that appear in the ad, we built that around the assumption that you already had tickets to go see Dokken, and we just wanted you to come early. Don't miss this, right? I didn't think we'd sell any tickets. So I get a text from mom at the show. He was like 17 at the time. Mom's like, oh my, Johnny, this place is packed. Like we have 400 people that showed up. We sold $200 worth of merch. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, awesome. I'm like, I'm all stoked about it. But then I hear later on that the club owner comes out and he's like, how the hell did you do that? You're not on the radio. You've never been at my club before. You've never been to Arizona. What just happened? Because he knows the traffic habits of his venue. And they're just kind of smirking and smiling. And, we're all real proud of ourselves. But the next day, the management of the headliner reaches out and offers him the rest of the tour, which he didn't take because there were fly dates and it was cost prohibitive. If it was a bus tour and they were a little bit more connected on the routing, they might have done it. But that told me What do you think that means? Let me ask you that. What do you think that means in your own head? We did sell tickets. We sold a buttload of tickets, okay? But we didn't sell tickets for my artist. We out promoted the promoter and sold tickets for the headliner. So the way I look at it is we sold a lot of tickets to two categories of people. One were people who the promoters' efforts they got touched once or twice. Maybe they heard an ad on the radio. Maybe they remembered seeing it in the local rag, or, they were at a show at the club previously and they saw that document was coming and they forgot about it, kind of a thing. And then they're like, oh, and I put it right in their feed and they're like, oh crap, let's go check this out. We'll get there early. This kid looks amazing, right? The second group of people, I don't know which one was bigger, but Dawkins in town? That's my favorite band. How the hell do I not know about this? Let's go, and we'll go early and see this kid. Facebook ads, right? This is the power of Facebook. I'm where the promoter isn't. I'm where the label isn't. I'm where your competition isn't. That's where you're going to be when you embrace this Facebook ads. And before we get into today's thing, I just want to tell you guys, it's new. It works. I just showed you yesterday, like the show one of the shows that we're promoting. It's the last week of the show, so it's really cranking this week. But check this out, just from yesterday. Look at how much more. I'm going to refresh this. I think we sold like 10 or 15 more tickets, man. I mean, we're up to almost $25,000 in sales. That's all Facebook ads. So there's e-commerce for you on ticket sales. The Jacob Cade thing, that's an indie artist. He had nothing. Nothing. He just had a good record. I got Michael Wagner to produce his record for him. He was like my freaking childhood hero. He produced the soundtrack to my youth, man. With the La La Deaton video that I showed you, that proves that a video can take off and have a life of its own after the ad campaign if it's done right. And of course, I mean, the content matters, like the video and the message and all that stuff. But we also then did some appropriate advertising and that took off. So it works for indie artists who have no audience. It works to promote videos Lala didn't have it. She had 280 followers or subscribers on her YouTube page. Now she's got 2,300. And that happened in a matter of months as a result of that campaign. It happened, for mid-level artists who have a brand name, you can sell tickets. So, embrace this. And I'm trying to encourage you to do this because you're going to hit a lot of potholes. You're going to hit a lot of speed bumps. There might be a train wreck or two. Don't give up, because this is the blue ocean right now. This is where your competition isn't. And this is a very powerful tool. So, to me, like what happened with Jacob Cade with the club, with the management reaching out and offering the rest of the tour, that reminds me of, that's a very similar scenario. It's on a different scale, but the way that Taylor Swift broke is a corollary to this. Okay. So when she first went out, I mean, she couldn't sing that well, but she could certainly write songs. She was the right person in the right place at the right time. Scott Borchetta started her out. He called in a lot of favors to get her on tour, and she went out on tour. And so people are giving in favors, right? But at the time, she's on the radio, but she's just starting out. So she's not got a whole lot of spins yet. She's fighting for space on the radio. She's not putting a lot of butts in seats. Okay. This is the very first tour. She's out with Brad Paisley. She goes and works with, she took a different route. She goes and works with Tom Jackson, my buddy, Tom Jackson. After Tom's done, he's a live show producer. After he's done with her merch sales go up 600% on this show. They're selling $15,000 worth of merch every night at these arena shows, opening up for Brad Paisley. But Paisley and his management, they don't connect the dots with Tom Jackson. She did a better job of selling. She did a better job of creating moments. And that's how she sold that merch, because she wasn't trying to pack in as many songs as she could into an opening slot. Tom's like, no, cut this, cut this, cut this. Let's make this out. Let's make some moments happen. So that's what they did. To the management, to the headliners management, they're like, you don't sell $15,000 worth of merch unless you're putting butts in seats. So now she becomes valuable to them. So let's keep her out longer than we promised that we would. So that gave her the time, that elongated tour gave her the time to claw her way up a little bit more on and get some more spins that year. She got more exposure in front of more people. And of course, now that show is tight, everybody was just blown away by her and really responding to her show after that whole thing with Tom Jackson. And she barely sold enough records to be able to achieve one of her dreams, which was to be on the CMAs with her band and sing a song. So, listen, that's a TV show. It's all about freaking being on a TV show. It's all about commercials, selling commercials. They don't care about the new music. It's like, are you going to be somebody that's going to attract enough eyeballs? So you got to sell, I think, at least 800,000 copies at the time. This is, prior to streaming, before they're going to let you on that show. Well, she just squeaked in on that. And then they said early on, hey, we're going to let you do a show. We're going to let you perform a song with your band. She's totally excited. She's done everything her manager, Rick Barker, told her to do. She's been working her butt off, like slaving away on the road, and they've made it happen. And the day before the show, she gets cut. She's the low guy on the totem pole. She gets cut. And the producer of the CMA says, look, you're out. And Rick Barker's like, what the hell am I going to tell Taylor? Like, she's a 15-year-old girl. She's going to light me up like nobody's business. What have you? He's like, look, I got enough performances. I don't need any more performances. What I need is a moment. And so Rick said, I got your moment. So first he goes and delivers the bad news to Taylor. And of course she has a complete meltdown, as you would. She'd been busting her butt for a whole year. This was her dream. They said they were going to give it to her. Then they took it away. Not fair. Okay. So understandably, she has, she's pissed. And that, they get it together, and Rick's like, you're going to go sing Tim McGraw, and we're not going to ask for permission. You're going to ask for forgiveness. So you're going to put the gown on right now. We're going to grab the guitar. And they went down to the show the day before and practiced for 5 hours, singing that song to a cardboard cutout of exactly where Tim McGraw was going to be sitting, and walking down the stairs so she can do it elegantly and not trip and not make a fool of herself. And that night was the night that Taylor Swift became a star. But it doesn't happen unless she sells 800,000 records, which doesn't happen if she stays out on tour longer, which doesn't happen if she didn't make that tweak with Tom Jackson. See what I'm saying? So with this whole Facebook ads thing, when you're scratching the back of the headliner and you can get a little bit more love and stay out, and you're helping yourself, but you're helping them, this is a powerful tool that you can use to negotiate lower fees to buy onto tours. Or they're going to seek you out. Hey, this girl draws, like, get her. This guy draws, get him. See what I'm saying? All right. So let's get into this. Anybody got any questions right now before we get into the show? I don't see any new questions coming up, but I do see everybody's questions today. Thank you for being patient about yesterday. Let's go to share. And we're going to learn today about objectives. So everybody go into your ads manager. And you're going to see one of two windows. Your window, what I want you to do is go into your ads manager, and that's, you're going to go click on the hamburger menu right here. And I'm not going to get rid of the screen, so I don't want to press, but if you click on that, click on ads manager, go into this is your ads manager dashboard. And click on create a campaign. I know we started one yesterday. Let's start another one today. You can delete these. It's easy peasy. So upper left-hand corner, create campaign. And you're going to get a window that either looks like this, which is the old school window, because some of you are going to be on the new school, some of you aren't. Don't panic, because it might look just like this. Nope, not like that. I lied. Here we go. It might look like this. So this is a more sort of simplified, streamlined version of this. So what I want to do is just go through these, because then you'll understand the simplified version a little bit more. So you have three different kinds of objectives that have cousins. The one objective here is the awareness. So brand awareness or reach. Brand awareness is more of a repetitive kind of a thing. So it's going to start looking at people who respond to your ad, and then it will continue to repeat to those people. Just kind of getting you in front of eyeballs, getting you in front of eyeballs. I don't use it that much, to be honest with you. The one I use all the time for artists is reach. So what reach is going to be the objective that you use for your warm audiences. So these are if you all made audiences yesterday, I asked you in your homework to make a warm audience for all of your Facebook engagement. Anybody who's engaged with your Facebook, anybody's engaged with your Instagram, anybody who's engaged with your WhatsApp, create a warm audience. And then I also, just because I wanted to give you some specificity on a video, like creating a video audience, I wanted you to create an audience of like 50% views on your most popular videos. Okay. And I just wanted you to go through that exercise and create that. So reach is, so now you have, these are warm audiences. These are people that are in touch with you. They've liked your stuff. They've seen your stuff. They've been exposed to you. So they have different levels of brand awareness with you, but it's not a cold audience. So what reach will do is it will take whatever your budget is and make sure that absolutely everybody in that audience, however big or small that audience is, they're going to make sure that everybody sees that content as much as your ad dollar will allow. Okay. So that doesn't mean that 100% of your people, if you got, 20,000 followers and you're trying to spend $50 on the warm audience campaign, you're not going to reach all 20,000 people for that. But it's going to make sure that the most amount of people see the ad at least one time, that you're going to put it in there and make them aware that something new is out. So I'm a big fan of reach for that reason. That's how I want to ensure that, if we do a first video like we did with Lala, and remember we had 17,000 people who saw that video 100% of the way through. Well, if she had a second video to put out, a release to come right after that, part of the budget I would spend on a reach campaign directed specifically at those 17,000 people. Does that make sense? To make sure they see it a second time. So that's what reach is. Reach is you're going to be your favorite go-to for a warm audience. Next is traffic. So, and by the way, this is really fun, but Facebook is getting so freaking intuitive. Okay. This ads platform is like so much better than Google ads for sure. But if you hover over this and that little eye shows up and you just hover over it, look at that. It says, shows your ads the maximum number of people in that audience. Right? That's the way I describe it. Brand awareness shows your ads to people who are most likely to remember them. And it shows it multiple times. Traffic, sends people to a website, app, or Facebook event, and it tells them to call you, or it's a call to action, right? So usually when you're going off platform, that's traffic. Like if you were going to run an ad to YouTube, or if you were going to run an ad to your website, or if you were going to run an ad to, when I'm doing the concert promotion stuff, that's a ticket outlet, it's not Facebook. So I am sending traffic to Facebook. And honestly, on that, just a little wink and a nudge, I don't use traffic. This is where it gets nuanced. We'll get into that. But traffic is essentially, when we get into these two verticals here, the consideration and the conversion apps. Facebook's going to take whatever your audience is. Let's say your audience is, to keep the math simple, let's say it's 1 million people. Well, within that 1 million people, remember 52,000 points of data on each of those 1 million accounts. Facebook is going to pick out the people within that target audience, within that 1 million people, for a traffic objective that like to click on stuff and go somewhere, that are more apt to click off the platform and go to where you want them to go. So it's there's nuance within that 1 million people. Some of them don't ever watch videos. Some of them don't like to click on stuff and go off of it. Some of them do. Facebook knows all that information and gives you the most likely people to do that, to give you the most bang for your buck on your advertising dollar. Okay. Engagement. If you look at the eye thing here, get more page likes, event responses, or post reactions, comments, or shares. Be careful with this objective. Don't go vanity on me, okay? Sorry, I'm getting, the coffee's drying my mouth out. I've had to do this because when I have paying clients, customers always right. They pay and I got to do what they want to do. Some of them feel like it would be better if they had more likes on their Facebook page. So they want me to do that so they can look better for a record label. I think it's BS. I think it's wrong. I don't get to tell them that because it's their job. I mean, if they ask me, I'm going to tell them. But if you put out good content, people will like your page and they'll continue to like your page and it will grow. And it'll be slow, but there'll be real people who really, really like your content. There are just like there are people within like that 1 million group of target audience, that 1 million accounts in your target audience who like to click on stuff and go outside. There are people who will like anything and everything. They like Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Toyota. They like, it's ridiculous. So if you're, getting Facebook likes isn't going to help your cause. And the industry and really the world is just so much more savvy to this now than they were 6 years ago or 8 years ago, where they're like, oh my gosh, look at all these likes. These guys must be huge. Well, now they're looking at the traffic, man. They're looking at the comments. They're looking at the engagement. I don't care about the likes. If you've got like 1 million likes on your page and you make a post and 6 people comment, that's a freaking problem. It looks shady. It looks bad. It makes you look like you're shady. So don't do it. Just let the likes come naturally. Now, having said that, this will also prompt people who like to comment, who like to, share, who like to react and stuff. So sometimes I rarely run engagement objectives for my artists. But sometimes if the budget's big enough, I might run one just a little bit just to get it going. You know how a bartender starts a shift and puts a $5 tip in the jar so everybody can see that somebody already tipped and you don't have to be the first one? It's kind of like that a little bit. If I do it, that's what I'll do it for. But don't run a likes campaign. I urge you not to. It's just not. It's going to be a vanity thing, and it's going to be worse for you than what it really is. App installs you don't need to worry about. Video views. So this is probably one of the two most popular, one of my two biggest tools in my toolbox when I run Facebook ads. Video, especially for artists, it's video views. So that 1 million accounts in your target audience, again, Facebook is going to look at all those 52,000 points of data, and they're going to pick out the people within that target audience who like to watch videos. And that's where they're going to place the ad, in those people's feeds. So Facebook helps you refine even more depending on the objective, right? You're going to refine your audience and choose your audience like we did yesterday based on interests and psychographics like we talked about. And maybe it's a lookalike audience, so that all those people kind of look like people who've already engaged with you before or watched a video before. But within that, is Facebook finds all these new people with the lookalike audience. It's a cold audience, but their data looks similar to people who already like you, which is super cool. But then they're going to refine it even more for you and make sure that they're not putting going to charge you to put an ad and to break somebody's attention span, to interrupt somebody's experience on Facebook or Instagram platform with a video ad when they never watch videos, right? So it's a good thing. So from the promotion perspective, I want people to see my artist. I want them to see my artist. So video views, baby. Okay, video views. So that's what I will push out, because I want people to watch that video. The more they watch, the more they connect with my artist, the more my artist gets branded, and the more the needle moves for my artist. So I love video views. And check me out now on this. So let's say you run a cold campaign. You're going to push out a music video, and let's say you get, say you get 20,000 people that watch that video, let's say at least 50% of the way through. The percentage doesn't matter. But so you get these 20,000 people who saw the first video, and that first ad was video views. You wanted them to watch the video. And so now the algorithm has picked them out of your target audience. These are people who like to watch videos, and that's what they did. They watched your video, and the ones who liked the content watched more of it, right? So now they go from a cold audience to a warm audience, don't they? So now when you run the warm audience, that's why I like to go to reach. I don't need to go to video views again, because they became a warm audience because they were targeted by Facebook's algorithm, AKA by me, because I chose the video views objective to be people who like to watch videos. So what I want to do on the warm campaign is make sure that as many people as I can afford to get that in front of see it, see the next one, see the second one, see the third one, see the fourth one. Okay. So do you guys get that? Like how that makes sense? Here, let me just double check my, see if anybody's got any comments here. No comments yet. Okay, awesome. Lead generation, you don't need to really worry about that. Messages, don't worry about that either. This is more like e-commerce stuff and business stuff that I don't think serves you as an artist. Conversions is the last one that I really do a lot of, and that's a sales thing. So again, if we hover over the eye, show your ads to the people who are most likely to take action, like buying something or calling you from your website. So I do use conversion ads for like my promoter. So again, but that's e-commerce, right? So a conversion ad means, so two things are happening. Ideally, it doesn't always happen, especially in the wake of the Apple, Facebook kerfuffle. So I'm not going to get too deep into this because it's going to kind of melt your face. But essentially, Apple about 8 months ago got in a huge fight with Facebook, and Apple said, you know what? For all of you who have an Apple iPhone, when you upgraded to iOS 14.5, which we're like 3 versions past that now, it allows you to opt out of data sharing, which means like the Pixel and all that stuff isn't working like it used to work. And so a lot of people did that, and Apple was, all virtue signaling, like, oh well, we just want the privacy of our people and everything like that. I don't freaking believe that for a second, because data is the money, man. That's where it all runs. I just think Apple's going to come out with some kind of package for us to purchase that they'll make more money on than what Facebook was paying to license the data from. So sometimes the conversions show up in your ad campaign, sometimes they don't. So ideally on a conversion thing, and I want to share this with you because I think it's going to switch back around. I don't know when, but it shouldn't be too much longer. And conversions will be more powerful. This is nuanced, but let's say that when I'm selling tickets, when I'm sending people to an online ticket outlet, I have the Pixel in there on that page, I know who's shopping for tickets. I know who went to the cart and abandoned the cart, and I know who purchased. So I can set the conversions campaign for a purchase conversion. And so Facebook is going to go looking for people that are going to purchase. And the more purchases you get, the more Facebook starts to match up that data and starts to hyper refine the surgical search and finds new people who look like those people that purchased, if that makes sense. But if you don't have a lot of purchases on that, then sometimes it messes with the algorithm. So I also create conversion campaigns based on if they go to the ticket outlet and they click on the button, because they got to click on a button to see what the price of the tickets are and to look at your seats. So this is before they purchase, but they're in the sales process now. And there's going to be a lot more people that do that. And I'm interested in those people that do that because there'll be more people that will click through and look at it. And most of them won't buy. So it seems counterintuitive, but ideally, I'm going to get a bigger data set from those people that are seriously interested enough in that show to click in, look at the price of the tickets, and look at what seats they can get to help that algorithm think. It's like AI; it continues to think. So, really, Facebook ads is learning this is an exercise in understanding how to put a leash around that algorithm and make it your biatch, okay? Make it work for you. So now let's just look at the other window, just so you can see. You have basically it's a vertical, right? Awareness campaign. And if you see down here, if I can't move my cursor, but if you look in the lower right-hand corner, it shows the awareness, and then it includes reach, brand awareness, and video views. So video views can fall under the awareness umbrella. All right. And then if I just scroll down to traffic here, it's going to say, well, that's like if you want link clicks, if you want somebody to look at your landing page or your website, and for Messenger and WhatsApp type ads, traffic. If I go down to engagement, it's going to say everything that falls under the engagement umbrella is video views and post engagement. So when I'm running for you guys, when I want to run a video views campaign for an artist, I'm going to run an engagement video views, not an awareness video views. Okay. And then you can see leads. And then, with sales, that's going to be conversions. Okay. Just so it's the same thing. It's just, they've kind of tried to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they slimmed it down. They slimlined it or whatever and made it different. So that is conversions. So if we go and create our ad, which is what we're going to start to do today, and if I'm going to do a video views ad, if I want to push a music video, or hey, if you've got content, if you've got video content that's maybe not a music video, but it's video content, it could be you doing a cover song. It could be you telling a story about how you wrote the song, and hopefully you're smart and you've got the hook of the song playing in the background while you're doing this like interviews scene. Behind the music comes first on digital, not last. I want to know about you. I want to connect with you. What happened? Oh, I went through this terrible tragedy and this and this and this happened. And then I wrote this song. And while you're telling the story, the track's playing in the background, and I'm watching this video going, oh my God, that happened to me too. So you're from the mothership, and that's the way that we're connecting, right? So so video views would be the way that I would want to do that. So I'm going to click engagement. I'm going to click continue. Now that's going to set up the beginnings of our ad campaign. So what I'm going to do right now is just, I want to just go backwards once. So I'm going to X out of this. We're going to go back and do it in a sec, but I just want to show you just a quick overview of the dashboard. So back out and go back to your dashboard. Don't delete that. Keep that there because we're going to go back into it. And I want to just give you a quick tour of this dashboard. So remember we talked about the 3 levels of campaigns. Each campaign, you got a campaign level, which is right here. The middle tab right here is your ad set level. And then you've got your ads level right here. So there's lots of ways to navigate to this. So here you can see, for instance, that I'm running boatloads of campaigns for this concert promoter. I can, this is a lot of information, right? There's a lot of information. So if I just want to focus on, let's say, one show, the TG Shepherd show, I can click on all the TG Shepherd shows and highlight them. And then it will single them out for me. And I'll show you how to do that. I just wanted to show you, I want you guys to play with this once you get a couple of, you can actually start a couple fake campaigns when we're done with the lesson, just so you can play around with highlighting what you want to highlight. So right now there's two ways I can just make sure I'm only looking at what I highlighted. Way number one is I can click on the ad sets tab right there. Now it's only going to show the ad sets from what I've toggled. Okay. Way number two, if I'm on the campaigns level, is if I go up here for search and filter and I click on that and I just go down to filter by selection. Now at the campaign level, it's only going to show me what I've toggled. Okay. And then now when I go down to ad sets, it's only going to show me the ad sets. And when I go down to the ads, it's only going to show me the ads. The other thing that you need to be aware of is this right here. This is the date. So, and trust me, you're going to do this and you're going to remember that I said this when you do it. But you need to make sure always that you're looking at the right date, because sometimes you might forget that you were looking at just this month. So if I'm looking at this month, for instance, well, here's a prime example. With this particular ad campaign, I have a $5,000 budget on this ad campaign to promote TG Shepherd. So if I'm making choices on different ad tests that I want to do, and I'm thinking I got a $5,000 limit, and we've only spent $1,117. I'm golden. You know, watch this. If I go to maximum, hello, I'm at 4,500. So you can screw your budget up by just making sure, by looking at the wrong window. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're always looking at the window you want to look at. Sometimes I want to know what happened yesterday or this past week, but just make sure that you always double check that date so that you know what you're looking at. And when your brain starts moving, you're thinking about, okay, this is what I want. So this button right here is the vertical button, is going to give me different looks at the data. So if I want performance and clicks, like how many people click through, if there's a link that I want them to click through to go to a ticket outlet or something like that. You guys probably aren't going to use that in the beginning. What the two main things that you're probably going to use in the beginning are this: video engagement. How many people looked at my video? How many people saw it? And, you know, all the way through, part of the way through. Look at this. This is, 3,300 people have seen 95% of that TG Shepherd ad. That's data I can use for the next TG Shepherd show to create that lookalike audience, right? That's a nice data set. The other thing would be engagement, right? So if I click right above that on engagement, now I can see post shares, who shared it, who saved it, who commented, the reactions, and the link clicks, okay? And the page likes, if that happened. In this case, we're selling freaking TG Shepherd tickets. We're not trying to get people to like the promoter. Promoter doesn't care. He just wants people to buy tickets. So those are two things: engagement and video engagement and engagement, I think, are the two main things that you want to see. If you ever want to customize a column, you can go down here. Like sometimes, let's say you want to see in one window, you want to see the video engagement and the engagement. Well, let's click on video engagement here. And if I go to my drop-down menu with the vertical tiles and I go all the way to the bottom to customize columns, it's going to pull up everything that I can use. And I'm just going to kind of scroll down here and see what I would like to add. So I want to add page likes, page engagement, post comments, post engagement, post reactions, post saves, post shares, and I click apply. And now if you see in my window, if I scroll across, I have all the video views, and then there is all of the engagement, right? Oh, something I forgot to say. If you're going to do Facebook events, a lot of you will do a live gig and create a Facebook event for that live gig. If you're going to promote to that, I would use an engagement objective for the Facebook event because it's on platform as opposed to sending people off platform to a ticket outlet. That makes sense? Now, let's talk about the next thing. Let's go to this window here, where I am going to pull up the, let's just pull up the Christmas thing here. Let's pull up one video. And I'm going to just filter by that selection so you can see her Christmas video. And I want to show you how we can, so we've got video engagement here. I'll pull that up in this column. Now, if I go to this column, the breakdown column, this is really interesting for you guys, because if I click on this and I go to by delivery, I can choose to look at gender, age and gender, what country they came from, what region they came from, what platform they were on. Did these people see me on Facebook? Did they see me on Instagram? Did they see me on WhatsApp? Placement is essentially the Facebook's answer for a surface, right? So it's not enough did they see me on Facebook and Instagram, but was it in stories? Was it in IGTV? Was it in the feed? Was it in an ad on the right-hand side? So let's click on placement here, and you can see this breakdown happen. And it's going to tell me, here's Facebook stories. Here's how many people, consumed the content on stories, Facebook feed, instant articles, in-stream videos, marketplace. You have the complete breakdown here. So you can go and kind of just look at this data and find out where your hotspots are, right? I love to say the numbers don't lie because the numbers can't talk. Okay. I can go and break down, if I want to check out age and delivery, we can do that, or age and gender. I can see if it's male or female, who's really responding to this today, and what age are they? What age group are they? So I can kind of get a good idea if I just look at the video views here of who's responding to this, and this could help me with targeting. And it also might help you just figure out, hey, dummy, here's who you thought your audience was, this over here. No, it's this pile of people over here. And you might change a couple of things. Okay. It's very interesting. I can also go by country. I think a lot of you who are going to do wide releases are going to want to see this. Where are they? Where are they? Who likes me? I'm huge in Germany. I'm huge in Colombia. Look at that. They love Lala Dean in Colombia. Argentina. So you can kind of get a big a breakdown of that. Okay. And then just so you can see the platform thing really quick, I know we're going to run a little long today, but it'll also tell you platform and device, right? So it'll tell me if it's on Facebook or if it's on Instagram, and then was it an Android? Was it an iPad? Was it a tablet? Was it an iPhone? Etc. So you can kind of get a breakdown by that, which I think is interesting. I think a lot of people maybe think about creating content like on MTV and they want to use the widescreen 16:9 aspect ratio. And then they look at this and they're like, man, like 85% of my content is viewed on an iPhone or an Android, and it should be 16:9, right? Or I'm sorry, 9:16. So it should be like the vertical. I need to make sure that my content is optimized to look amazing on this, because that's where they're seeing it. So you might make some different choices on how you edit or at least I do all of it. I'll do the widescreen and I will also do the thing. But, a lot of you, I think, are lazy or you just don't see the value in it. Maybe you're not lazy, but you're like, I don't know if that's worth my time because who really knows? Well, now you're going to know. When you run an ad, you're going to have all this information. So I encourage you to run a little $50 ad, push out a video, play around with it and see what those breakdowns look like. So then if I want to clear the breakdowns, I go back here. I have to click on clear breakdowns. And then now let's go back into our ad that we started. Okay. So I'm going to, now if I want to, remember I toggled these and I searched by just these, I want to go back to see everything. I can either X out right here or X out right here. And it will pull up, it will eliminate my search and pull up everything. I'm going to click on both, I guess. And it didn't, I guess I didn't get far enough along for it to save the thing. All right, so let's create the campaign. And we're just going to get a little bit through this today, and then really we're going to do more of the campaign creation tomorrow. So I'm going to do the engagement campaign for the video views. I'm going to open that up. And so we're going to name our campaign. I'm going to name this test campaign. And then I like to put in what kind of campaign is it? So this is video views. And then is it going to a cold audience or a warm audience? As you guys dig into this, your bookkeeping skills are going to matter. Otherwise, it's going to be a circus. Okay. And you're going to get so confused because you'll have you can have 4 different things running and you're not sure what the hell you're looking at. So try to be as descriptive as possible. So this would be test campaign, video views, cold audience, and I will put the date in usually 7/21 22. So I know, and then I'll change that date if I refine something. Okay. So now I'm going to scroll down here. Facebook is going to do so much intuitive default stuff for you that for the most part, it looks really confusing, but just for the most part, stay the hell out of the way and let Facebook do what it wants to do. So I have, I'm going to leave this on auction platform. The other choices are, if you want to see, it's just I can drop down menu. There aren't any other choices. Sometimes you can do it by impressions and stuff like that. Just Facebook is always going to choose the one that saves you the most money. Facebook, a lot of people think Facebook's trying to screw you over and shake you down for money. Yes, they want to make money. They want to do it. But really, the more that you win on Facebook, the more money you're going to spend. So it's a service-oriented thing. And a lot of people just have horrible experiences with Facebook ads because they don't know what they're doing. And they don't know what they're doing on the ads platform. And then once they learn the ads platform, they have no idea what they're doing with the content. And so it doesn't work. But when it works, Facebook is on your side. Okay. It's on your side. So the campaign objective here is engagement. That's what I wanted. I can change it at the ad level if I wish. And I can put a campaign spending limit here at the bottom if I want to for the whole campaign. So I can put I can click on add campaign spending limit and I can put in, $200 spending limit if I want to do that. And then scroll down. And the rest of this stuff, you don't need to worry about. You're not going to be doing testing. So now I've completed my campaign level here to start this campaign. I've completed everything I need to complete. Now we're going to jump down to the ad set levels. And I can navigate there from over here on the left-hand side. And if you remember from the other day, right here at the top too, I can go campaign level, ad set level, ad level. So now I'm going to name this. So this is test campaign. I'm going to put in video views. I'm going to put in cold, but I'm also going to add in, there might be a specific audience. So the audience is injected at the ad set level. And so I want to know when I'm looking at ad sets, okay, what audience is this targeted to when I'm looking at the dashboard? So I don't have to dig in and I can make just decisions quicker, right? So let's just say this is, let's say this is a lookalike audience, 2% or something like that. Then I'm going to scroll down and this is, okay, so now you see here, the objective was engagement, and now it's asking me to specify like what kind of engagement do you want? So event responses right there would be if I was driving traffic to get people to make them aware of a local gig or something like that. If I'm going to do a Facebook event, post engagement, if I want them to comment, share, blah, blah, blah. In this case, I want video views. So I'm going to leave it right there on video views. That's the kind of engagement that I want. Don't worry about the dynamic creative. Now we're going to scroll down. So here's optimization for delivery. So a through play, and by the way, if you're in your dashboard, like when we pulled up the video engagement and you saw 25%, 50%, 75%, one of those columns is through play. A through play is 15 seconds. So essentially it's going to optimize for, it's already optimizing for video views, and now it wants to optimize for like through plays. Get people at least 15 seconds into that. It's going to pick the people who not only like to watch videos, but like to watch it at least 15 seconds through, have maybe a slightly longer attention span. And I pretty much always use through play here. But if you want to see what the dropdown looks like, your other option is 2-second continuous views. I do through play. And once again, look at Facebook, intuitive, recommended. This is what you want. Okay. Additional options in here. Do I want to get charged for impressions, or do I want to get charged for through plays? In this case, I think impressions is going to be the lower cost on that. But you can kind of play around this. Sometimes they switch around. I pretty much just stick with impressions. I don't think I've ever charged for a through play. Delivery type. There we go. So delivery type, this isn't edit. You can't edit that when you're on impressions in video views. So now I can do a daily budget if I want to do a daily budget versus a lifetime budget. So here's what's important to know. You're dealing with an algorithm. This algorithm is really smart. It has a lot to do, but you want to make sure that you set the algorithm up for success. The whole thing of running, $2 a day ads is, I think at one point a few years ago, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, that kind of worked, but it doesn't now. If you don't spend at least, I want to say like $15 to $20 a day on ads, you're kind of not giving enough meat on the bone for the algorithm to dig in and do what it needs to do and find the people that you're asking it to find. So that determines the length of the campaign, right? So if you remember when we were talking about Lala's campaign, she had $1,000 budget. I'm not going to run that $1,000 over 3 months, because I'm not going to have the results that I got by doing that. So I ran it for like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. If you do the math on that, I don't know who can do the math on that, but I wanted to be a healthy amount of money per day on that campaign. So I'm giving the algorithm enough food, enough gas to do what I need it to do. All right. So I would discourage you from doing, you can try it. I mean, you can mess around with it. And maybe for smaller audiences, like if it's a 50-mile radius for a gig thing, you can spend a little bit less per day. But I would recommend testing it, okay, let's throw, because listen, this is investing in your company. I don't care what business you have. You are a business owner. I'm sorry. You're a business owner, which also makes you a marketer. Sorry. And I don't care if you're making cars, Coca-Cola, guitars, if you got a nonprofit, If you're a charity, if nobody knows about it, it doesn't exist and you can't function. So you've got to promote. Okay. You've got to promote. You want to turn the corner. Do you want to get the attention that you deserve? Do you want to, are you the artist that just people are going to freak the hell out when they see you? The more often they see you, then you've got to make sure that you're seen. And you can't yell at Facebook for decreasing the organic reach thing. I promise you, for the money that you're going to spend on this stuff, so much better. It's so much more powerful, so much more efficient, and so much less expensive than radio, than commercials, than any other kind of broadcast promotion that you can do. So, depending on how big the budget is going to depend on how long I'm going to run the campaign. But I would recommend, like, if you're going to do, let's say you set aside you want to test something. I'm going to throw $150 at some ads for a local gig. Just want to see what happens. Well, maybe split that in half, do 75 and 75. Run $75 towards on a daily budget of, let's say, like $5 a day or $10 a day, and then run the other $75 at $20 a day. And after one day, just take a look at the numbers. Which one's performing better? The numbers don't lie because the numbers can't talk. And you'll see, like, oh, okay. And remember, if you choose to, you only pay for ads after they run. So you're not committing to an amount of money, which is hard for people to get their head around sometimes because it's just counterintuitive to the way you've always bought any kind of promotion before. You got to pay up front, right? You want to buy radio ads during the Drive at 5, they're this amount of money. Well, what if we run 2 ads and my show sells out? Same price. We're going to run them for the rest of the week. Here, if you're looking at the data and you can see Facebook, and you just see that one's a winner and one's a loser, you turn the loser off, just shut it off. And now you can reallocate those funds to the one that's winning. So, I like to check into it, like literally on a daily basis, just to see how everything's doing, because sometimes trends can change. Now, structurally, if I was going to do this test that we were just discussing, I got a show, I'm going to spend $150. I want to test 75 on an audience where I'm spending $2 or $3 a day or $5 a day. And I want to test on the same audience where I'm going to spend $20 a day. So I would do the same campaign and then I would create 2 different ad sets. So right here, these 3 dots right here, action menu, if I click on that, look at that. It's going to allow me to duplicate the ad set. So I can duplicate that. It says original campaign. I want it to be in the original campaign. Number of copies. I just want 1 more copy. I'm going to click duplicate. It's going to make a brand new ad set for me. Okay. So in this particular instance, let's just go 200 because I put a campaign limit at $200, right? So this will make it easier and less difficult to do the math. So I said a campaign limit of $200 right here. Now it's going to only spend $200 on both of these ad sets. So one ad set, I can do, I can have my audience. I'm going to choose all my audience and the interest like you guys did. And then I'm going to put like a 50-mile radius around the venue that I'm going to play at geographically. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But here at this level, I can go down and choose a daily budget of, let's say I want to do $5. Okay. And then on this other one, I can go and I'm going to do like the exact same ad. I'm going to do the exact same audience, but here I'm going to do a daily budget of $20. So this ad, the second ad, is going to be done much faster than the first. It's going to be done in 5 days. This one's going to be done in 20 days, right? Because it's going to spend $5 a day. And then I can just kind of look and see when, again, so now you see what I'm talking about with your bookkeeping, right? So I would name this one, this ad set would be, test campaign, all I got to do is just spell that right. Video views cold 20. I might put in front of this just so it's easy for me to see. I might put in, this is the $20 one. So $20 test campaign. And then this one, I would name that $5 test campaign. And that way, when I go to the so I'm going to close. So when I try to close out, it's just asking you, hey, are you sure you don't want to publish this right now? No, I don't want to publish it. And it should save it for me. So now if I go back to the campaign level, there's my, there's that other one that popped up. I just need to refresh. So here's my test campaign here. I'm just choosing this. Actually, let's ditch this because I want to. So if I want to delete a campaign, here it is right here. This one I'm going to delete. I just go, there's the garbage bucket right there. See it? Bye-bye, baby. So it's going to go away. Now this campaign here, let's go back into it. So I'm just going to check on that. Now, if I go to the ad sets, which is what I want you to see, you see how now I can tell, oh, here's my $5 one. Here's my $10 one or my $20 one. I can scroll across and look at my video views. Which one is doing better? Okay. And go from there. So let's go back into the campaign. I'm going to click edit. I'm going to jump in. And let's see, scroll down. Oh, that's at the campaign level. We want to go at the ad set level here. So we've chosen video views. We've chosen our daily budget now. Now we have the start date, right? So if it's an event, I'm going to have a start date and I'm going to have an end date. So if I'm doing a gig, right? Let's say I want to start these. So normally I kind of bounce around on this, but I don't know. This is so subjective, guys. So subjective. Okay. So take this with a grain of salt. But if I want to start these ads like right away, I would probably start them tomorrow at like 1 a.m. Okay. Now you might be thinking, well, who's going to be up at 1 a.m.? Facebook's algorithm is going to do all of that for me. It's going to find out where the most traffic is. And it's going to begin delivering. Again, Facebook wants you to win. Facebook wants your ads to succeed so that you come back and buy more ads. All right. So this is set up to work for you. But I just like, okay, I want to make sure I get the whole day for my $5, right? It's very subjective. Now I can put an end date. So if the gig is, I'm going to start these on the 20th, I'm going to run for a week. The gig's on the 29th. I'll put the 29th in. And if we go on stage at 8 o'clock, I might put like, 6 p.m. for the end time. Now, when you're setting an end time, make sure it jives with your budget. All right. So if I'm going to spend $100 for $5 a day, and this is my end date, which is 7 days, that's going to be, I'm not going to spend the whole budget. Okay. So you got to kind of do the math on that and make sure that everything is jiving. But I think what I would do on this thing here is just set these up at $20, set them up at $5, take a look after a day or two and see how they're looking, and then make some decisions, and then just shut one off and then, run it for the rest of the campaign. I typically, when I'm doing a test, I want 72 hours. You start to see some clear winners early, like in the first day when you're testing something, but sometimes it can change. And certainly with the campaign, it's going to take a little bit of time for that algorithm to find those people that you want it to find. It doesn't happen overnight. It's working constantly and refining, searching through that data to try to find and pluck the people out that you're specifically asking for. So keep in mind with that algorithm, I want to just give you some perspective on that. Okay. So now we've set our dates, and now I'm going to go, I can go find my audience. I can use an audience that I saved. So here's a specific instance where I have, this is for the TG Shepherd show. So if I put that in there, this is an audience that's basically a 50-mile radius. So let's just do a little bit of this geo-targeting stuff because I want to show you how this works. And this is probably going to freak you the heck out. So if I click on edit and I click on location, so I've created a lookalike audience here. Okay, and this is across the whole United States, but now I'm refining that lookalike audience in terms of geolocation to what amounts to more or less like a 50-mile to 80-mile radius of Glasgow, Kentucky, where the venue is, where the show is happening. But I want to show you different ways that you can do that. So here you can see, so I'm going to click on search locations and here comes the map, right? And so you can see I picked counties. And so I can blow up on the map. This is just like using your maps in your GPS. Okay. I keep going in, and then I can, push around. I can push out. Go away. There we go. So I can do that. Now, sometimes what I will do, it doesn't show me the county lines. So I will go to Google and click in like map of Kentucky or county map. Sorry, county map of Kentucky. Pull that up and Bob's your uncle. I get a good look at this guy. He pops up. Oh my Lord, I don't need to get through 3 levels of maps. Just show me the map. For all that is holy, come on. Still ridiculous. Okay, that took 5 clicks. This is crazy. But here I can see. So somewhere up in here is Glasgow. There's Glasgow right there, Barron County. So I went and chose these counties that are around it. Okay, that's one way to do it. That's the way that I chose to do it. Another way is I can, hold on, it's resetting and taking forever because of Zoom. Come on. The hell? I think it just crashed on me. That's never happened before. Very strange. All right, hold on. Let me get back there. Ads manager. Sorry, guys. Trying to make this go fast for you. Bear with me, bear with me. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. You'd think they could figure out a way to get Zoom to work without this much of a chokehold. But I guess because we're streaming and I get that's all about my internet, isn't it? Well, I'm moving into a new house and I'm going to have fiber, 5G, man. So I'm friggin' stoked about that. That should make this go faster, I would imagine. All right, where are you, Uncle Danny? Come on, come on, come on. Come on. There we are. So another thing you can kind of do in the maps thing here, which we're going to get to, is kind of create like a little heat map and use like a concentric circle if you want to. So here's our test campaign. It's coming up. I'm just going to let it all load because it's got all weird on me. Keep going, keep going, keep going. so essentially I can pick like the venue city, what I mean by heat map. And then the biggest that it will go out will be a 50-mile radius. But I can pick like adjoining cities, or I can drop a pin. I can just drop a pin on it and blow that up and kind of create a circle shaded area. I'll show you what that looks like once it pops up. And for right now, while this is coming up, does anybody have any questions? Let me look at the questions box here. Oh my gosh, this is all right. No questions yet. I think I'm looking at the box that was working before. Let's just refresh this and see if I get some new questions in here. I want to answer your questions. Okay, definitely. I am learning what I need here. Good, Troy. All right, so I don't see any new questions. So let's go back to, no, we don't want to publish the draft items. I want to keep them open. Let's go back into our test campaign and let's go to our map. And oh my goodness, you guys, like my brain goes so fast. This is torture for me. I'm like, come on. I got things to go, places to be, people to see. You know what I'm saying? It's hard work. It's hard work. All right, here we go. So we are going to go into locations. I'm going to search for, use a saved audience. Sorry, Glasgow, Kentucky. I'm going to click on edit. I'm going to scroll down, edit here, search locations. Okay, here we are. So now my map comes up. Now, if I wanted to, just to give you an example, like go to, let's say Louisville. So I can click on Louisville. I can type it in here too. This is Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm going to click on that. Now you can see here that it's popped up here, and I got to go find it. Here's Louisville right here. And if you click on the drop down, this is where I can blow up that 50-mile radius. See that? Or I can blow it down. I can shrink it. I can go county by county. Here's the freaky part. I can go by voting district, congressional district. Hello. There's lots of different ways to make that happen. State by state, country by country. That is how you're going to put your audiences together. Once again, do not forget that if you are showing alcohol in your ad, if a music video has alcohol in it or anything like that, or if you're promoting a venue that is, you have to be 21 to get into, your ad will not run if it's below 21. I'm also going to take the opportunity to tell you to do this. I'm going to put a link in the email. I'm going to put it in the Facebook group as well. You have to become a bit of a geek and read Facebook ads policies. Facebook ads policy. You got to read them. It's not a huge read, but you need to read it, or you're going to be frustrated while your stuff keeps getting rejected and you're banging your head against the wall, because stuff that you can put on your feed as an organic post doesn't necessarily mean that that same content can go into an ad, because you have to remember, with an ad, you're paying to interrupt somebody's positive experience on Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp to put your content in there. And so they are very, very particular about what you're going to put in there. I'll give you an example. I directed this killer video for Nick Hickman, who is like a country artist, like a pop country artist, kind of like a Sam Hunt kind of a thing. You're really young, good looking guy. He looks like that soccer player that the what are the girls, the singing group? I forget their name. Beckham, David Beckham. It looks like David Beckham. And he's got a real hot girlfriend, and now it's his wife. And this song is sexually charged. It was just all about, it was a very, very sort of, provocative kind of song, right? Like as much as you can be in pop country, so not vulgar or anything, but it's young and it's sexy. And so we got the idea of for running the ad for this video. We got this really killer house that we were actually, it's that artist named Taylor who just had the ABCDEFU. I used to work with her when she was like 12 and 13, and it was her house. It was her mom's house. And we shot this video in there. And we thought, let's get it. Like, you guys are coming home. It's your birthday. You're coming home from dinner and you don't even make it through the door. It's your birthday celebration. You barely get through the door. Her high heels are in her hand. She's got this beautiful cocktail dress on, and you just like press her up against the wall. You're a couple, you're just making out with each other. And then it kind of, you slide your way into the living room. You sit down on the comfy chair, and she, jumps up on your lap, and you guys are making out, and you kind of unzip her dress and you pull her dress down. She's got a bra on, so there's no nudity or anything. It's very suggestive. And then as soon as that dress falls down, all of a sudden all the lights go on. It's like, surprise. And like, we had this whole group of people there, like grandma, he's like, Gamma. And, she's like, oh, and she's struggling to cover herself up because they didn't realize there was going to be like a surprise birthday party. And it was like this total ambush. It was really funny, and it was really innocent. It was really cute. Can't do it. Can't run that ad, right? We got shut down for that because it suggests sex. And I'm like, well, that's subjective. If I talk to Kat Von D, her idea of what is suggesting sex is going to be completely different from, let's say, like a front row Baptist who could be, dancing is going to lead to sex. So, but know the policies. Okay, you can't put all capital letters in your ad copy. Okay, you might want to do things that you would do like in a text that are not allowed in your ad copy, and will have your ad rejected. Okay, if it's an acronym, you can do that. If it's something like MIT or ASCAP or BMI, those kinds of things. That's a company name. You can do that. But if you're like, you've got to come out tonight, and it's all like, they're going to shut you down. You can't use excessive punctuation. So you can't use more than one exclamation point or more than one question mark, or it's going to be rejected. So you need to read the ads policies, and that's part of your homework for today, because you need to know what you can and what you can't do. Now, quick little thing that I want to remind you of, or not remind you of, but make you aware of. Because I work so much in the artist world, like this has never been an issue for me. But at one point, I don't know if it still exists, but at one point, Facebook had a rule on if you do an image ad that might have like some text in it, right? Some graphic words in the image ad, you can, the text can only take up 20% of the image. There was a limit to how much that could be. So it's not just this, vomit of words on a picture, because it just looks bad in the feed, unless, here's why I'm vague on this, unless it's a show poster or an event poster. In that case, you've got to pack in all that information and it's all relevant, and they allow that to happen. So just make sure that you're looking at that too, and what ads, what you can do with your ads and what you can't do with your ads. Okay. So I think that's where we're going to be. So we're going to stop today. So tomorrow we're going to kind of finish building the rest of this campaign, and we will, you'll have everything kind of put together and everything ready to go, like as promised. Okay. Any questions that you guys have right now in terms of what you've learned about Facebook ads and what you need to do? Once again, guys, I know this is a lot of information. You can see how powerful this is. I encourage you to get that lifetime access membership, because you're going to want to go back and refer to this over and over. It's worth the cost of a cocktail to be able to consistently refer back to that and not have any issues. Nicole, did you get that straightened out with that? Because you weren't the only one. We had a couple of people that were having some issues where they weren't able to go to a login page that would allow them to create an account after you paid for it. But then people just refreshed their browsers and it worked. So I put a support ticket in with my software thing. I mean, so far, everybody that I'm unsure of you, Nicole, which is why I'm asking, but everybody else has done it, has gotten in. So, maybe just try it one more time and see if that works. But rest assured, I'm going to make sure that you get the access. I know that you paid for it. I see that. And, I'm always going to make sure that you're taken care of. I'm going to make you happy, but I need to know like exactly what the tech issue is before I can kind of solve it. If you're not seeing that. Okay. So, the link is, I'm going to put the link in your email. There's a link to that lifetime access in this chat in the challenge, and I'll also put it in the group feed. So your homework for today is to just play around on the ads platform now. Just set up a couple mock accounts and look at the different objectives, and just kind of go through and I want you to click on all the buttons. Click on all the buttons and see what happens. Generate some questions. Ask me what this means, what that means for tomorrow. And all the way from the campaign level through the ad set level. And then we're going to get into the ad level tomorrow. That's where we really kind of drill down and get to work. And I'll show you some really different important stuff. So play around with the audiences and the geolocation on the audiences. Play around with, and so, when you saw me in there and I typed in Louisville, Kentucky, I can also type in, Davidson County. I can type in a county name. I can type in a state, and it'll prompt and it'll show you everything. And you can click on the one that you want, and then it will target that area for you. The other thing is you have to read Facebook ads policies, please. Again, it's not a big read. I don't think it's going to take you 2 hours. I think it's going to take maybe a half an hour, but I want you to read them and I want you to be familiar with them, because there's things you can do on your feed that you can't do in an ad, and you need to be aware of that. Okay. And let's see. Anybody else got any other questions? I'm looking here. I mean, yesterday, I'm so worried now about not seeing your questions. I feel like we're looking good here. Does anybody else got any questions before we sign off for today? Everybody feeling a little bit better about this now? You see how we did it step by step? We kind of had to start making sure your business was compliant and set up the way Facebook wants it to be set up. Then we need to learn about that pixel and do all that high tech mumbo jumbo that gives everybody a headache. And I know, Nicole, you had asked about Bandzoogle, and I think Taylor did as well. So evidently for Bandzoogle, in order for you to put the tracking code in there, you need to have a more expensive subscription. You have to be a higher level subscription to do that. All the stuff we just showed you here today all happens on the Facebook platform. So you don't need to worry about that right now. I don't want you to think that you're missing out on anything, because you're not. So I don't think there is a reason for you right now to upgrade that. If you can afford to do it, go ahead and do it. But I'm guessing that you're at this low level right now for a reason. So it's not mission critical to you. Like when you push out an ad for video views, all that is happening on the Facebook ads platform. You get all that data. You don't need the pixel for that. Okay. Pixel is for off-platform stuff. And by the time that your ads are working well enough that you need to worry about how many people are going to your website, about tracking them, that's a high-class problem. And then you can go upgrade at that point. Okay. I don't think there is a need to make that happen. Katerina says, feeling better about this, definitely getting the lifetime. I have a lot to learn and catch up on. Hey, Kat, I know Kat came in late. She just came in yesterday. We did a consultation, and they're going to be doing some really cool stuff to put some live shows down in San Diego. So I'm excited about that. But Katerina, make sure you email me too and tell me what you think about the first 3 days, because I'd like to get your feedback on that. I mean, it's really super cool. But going back to what I was saying, we've got, we set up the business made the business compliant. We got your domain verified, your business verified if it asked you to. A lot of you, just because your domain is verified, it's not going to give you a hard time with that. But if there ever comes a time where it asks you for your ID or something, put your ID in there. Remember, you want a dark surface, and you put your ID in the dark surface, take a clear picture of it with your iPhone, and make sure that all the corners are included. So it doesn't look, if there's one little pixel that's out of the frame on your ID, they're going to reject it. Okay. So make sure that you do that. And usually they're pretty good about getting back to you within 24 to 48 hours. And then they just want to know who you are. Okay. Most of you won't have to do that though, but in case you do. And then yesterday we just did audience building, right? And so Katerina, you haven't seen that part, but it where we're talking about building the lookalike audiences, optimizing for the data, and kind of helping the algorithm refine that. Now we started building like the first sort of 2/3 of the campaign. It's really like the first 2 levels of the campaign, but the third level is where I think most of the work goes. So that's why we need that whole hour for tomorrow to kind of make that happen. Taylor says lots of great information. Each class fills the gaps for me. Thank you. Oh, absolutely, man. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Taylor. He's signing up for the Access Pass right after this. That's fantastic, guys. I love this, man. I feel like we're gaining confidence here. We're all starting to feel like, okay, this is starting to make sense. Thank you for trusting me as your Yoda, as your Sherpa, as your guide to get you through this. And we're going to make the circle complete tomorrow. And you're going to have all the information that you need to launch your first campaign and do it somewhat intelligently. Okay. At least insofar as how the ad platform works. And I hope that it looks not so intimidating now when you look at it, because you know what the tabs do, where the drop-down buttons are, what they all mean, how you can access information. And then tomorrow, we're going to do the nitty-gritty on the ad with the creative. And I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. You guys have a great day. And if you got any questions, hit me up. I will get back to you. And Nicole, I think she might have hopped off. I need to know if you're okay, if you got in and you were able to register. Send me an email and let me know. And Kat, if you have any issues with that too, like it just, after you pay for it, you need to create an account where you put in your email address and the password twice. So there's 3 boxes. And a lot of people initially were only getting 2. So basically it was wanting you to like log into an account that you haven't even created yet. But I know Troy had that issue. Somebody else had that issue, and they refreshed their browsers and it worked. And Nicole had that issue, and I'm not sure if it has been remedied or fixed yet. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow, and don't let your brain melt too much, but you now have the power to go and rock and roll. I love it. All right. Talk to you soon.